What do you think will be the future of Indian leather industry? Our scientist is actually working and inventing something that the industries actually don't want. But what's your opinion on the leather as a material being branded as cruel?
You ask a question like a media man. Leather making, you can do it in Ranipet, Ranipet even Ambur or Vaniambadi, but
Okay.
not in cities. There's Vikshit Bharat. I had to modify it Vikshit Shuk Bharat.
Oh.
Today, to sustain the lifestyle of United States for the world, it requires 7.4 Earth.
So if a man or a woman wants to be successful in their life, should they stay single? Welcome to the very first episode of the People of Leather podcast by AC Tech, Association of Leather and Footwear Alumni. Here, as a space, we have conversations with people and uncover the knowledge and their experience in the leather and allied sectors. Today, we begin our journey with a person who has dedicated his whole life to science that served humanity. He is a Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri awardee and the former Secretary of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. And he also served as the former Director of CSIR CLRA. He is none other than Dr. T. Ramasami. In this episode, we dive into his life and journey that span across science, technology, and service to the society. We also talk about the rise of alternative materials and the conversations around growing sustainability and also his vision of Vikshit Bharat 2047. He also shares how the leather industry can evolve with time, transforming challenges into opportunities. And finally, he leaves us with the advice for the young generation and also for the people working in the leather industry on how to shape the future of this industry. So let's get started. Hi, sir,
Hi,
and welcome to the podcast.
thank
And
you.
thanks for coming.
Thank you.
So it's been fascinating to me, sir, how a small boy from a town like Srivilliputtur went on to rule science and technology in this country from Delhi. So please enlighten the audience about your early life, sir.
Well, thank you for the question. A small correction. I didn't rule Indian science.
Mhm.
I served Indian science. So there's a difference between ruling and serving the science.
Mhm.
All of us, when you're young, we make a small beginning somewhere. And I'm not one who believes in fates. You shape your own life. Uh, it is true that I come from Siviliputtur, relatively a small place. But I chose the path of science when I was 10 years old.
10 years old.
10 years old.
Okay.
I wanted to be a scientist,
Mhm.
and I, let me say, chose to be a scientist.
Mhm.
It is, let me say, fortunate that what I wanted and what I ended up serving
Mhm.
happened to be in the same domain.
Okay. So
Many
at
people
the
it doesn't happen.
yes, sir. So at the age of 10 itself, you have decided you want to
A
become a
scientist.
scientist. So what inspired you to become scientist at such an young age when we were all just playing, but you desired to become a scientist. So who inspired you, sir, at that point of that age?
Honestly, no individual,
Okay.
no individual human being.
Mhm.
Uh, to me, uh, science was fascinating
Mhm.
because it talks about knowledge. Science is nothing but a formulated knowledge, but I ended up seeing beauty in the knowledge,
Mhm.
not the utility.
Mhm.
So I remember in when I was 10, one teacher was asking each one of us what we wish to be. By coincidence, it happened to be in Siviliputtur. I studied seventh class in four schools, and one of the schools was this Siviliputtur town. And it was a teacher, moral instruction teacher asked.
Mhm.
And I was the only man who said I want to be a scientist.
Mhm.
Then he took me to the class where the photograph of K.S. Krishnan, who did the work with the T.V. Raman, which is a Nobel Prize for this country,
Mhm.
was a student of that school.
Mhm.
So he took me to that class where the photograph of K.S. Krishnan was hung.
Okay.
And he gave me 3 core principles which have lasted me throughout.
Mm.
If you wish to be a scientist, you seek truth, and truth at any cost. And you cannot compromise. Compromise doesn't go with science. Quality at all costs. And he said, you need to persevere for finding the truth until you are convinced that is truth.
Mhm.
So that was a core fundamental value that got cherished in my life. When I joined BTech Leather Technology, at the interview somewhere, Dr. Nadam asked what was my ambition. I said to be a scientist.
Mm.
Uh, Therefore, I chose the path of science.
Mhm.
I would say my life itself got enmeshed with it. Of course, at midpoint, I changed the course
Mhm.
because early part of life, I saw beauty in science, beauty in knowledge, but never worried about the utility or value of it. But I came back to India at the age of 34
Mhm.
to change things in Indian science, because Indian science, in my opinion, at that time was very feudal. I want to change things around. So when I got an opportunity to go and serve science
Mm.
in Delhi as Secretary of Science, I thought it was a call
Mhm.
from the science I followed. I went. So it was a long path, but a path that had well directed path. It was
Okay.
not random.
It was directed by you,
Well
sir.
directed.
So it was directed by you. Okay.
Well, let me say a self-imposed
Okay.
selection of path.
Okay. Yes, sir. You clearly mentioned that you aspired to become a scientist at the young age of 10, right? Why chose chemistry? Because science is not only chemistry. It's about physics. There is also biology. There is a lot of things. You could have become scientist in any part of the field, but why choose chemistry? And particularly, why chose to pursue it by pursuing leather technology?
Well, Joe, I don't call myself a chemist.
Hmm.
I call myself a scientist.
Okay.
Uh, Science, in its manifestation, doesn't have disciplinary divisions.
Hmm.
I would probably keep mathematics out of this, but the rest of the knowledge stream, including economics,
Mhm.
to me is part of science.
Okay. Including economics is part of
Part of
science.
science.
Hmm. Hmm.
Therefore, I like to point out to you, 4 of my students
Hmm.
had a physics major
Hmm.
who did PhD with me.
Okay.
4 of my students who did PhD with me had biology major.
Hmm.
9 had chemistry,
Mhm.
and a couple of them had economics.
Mhm.
Therefore, I call myself a scientist. I did not choose the path of chemistry,
Mhm.
but chemistry is a path I took to climb the summit of science. When you go reach the summit,
Mhm.
you don't worry about the path you travel by.
Okay. It's all about the destination.
All about no, you reach you go to mountain top,
Okay.
you can see everything underneath.
Mhm. It's an
The
eagle eye view.
any type you can take physics, you can take
Mhm.
chemistry, you can
Mhm.
take math, any discipline.
Mhm.
So science is about reaching perfection.
Hmm.
You don't reach perfection, approach perfection.
Okay.
So path doesn't matter.
Mhm.
I won't say I classify myself as a chemist.
Hmm.
For disciplinary orientation in a social grouping, I became a chemist. But my research was in very broad areas.
Mhm.
I understood a problem, and I believe no single problem
Mhm.
can be solved by mastery of one branch of science. You need to
Okay.
have many synthesis of solutions
Mhm.
come from really knowledge from many streams.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I don't call myself a chemist,
Okay, sir. So,
but I'm called a chemist
mhm,
by classification.
great uh, analogy, sir. So, as I can see, you were born in 1948. So that basically, one in an India, in an independent India, that's just 1 year old. So, as far as I see, you've actually grown along with the independent India. So, does your growth is actually being complemented because the country is also growing along with you, and also how it actually shaped your vision since the country has just got the independence and it also finding its own ways of having the constitution in place.
Well, thank you. See, I divide present group of people in India
Mhm.
into 5 generations.
Mhm.
Generations ahead of me,
Mhm.
I call them generation of freedom struggle.
Okay.
They were 10 years old in 47.
Mhm.
So they were ruled by
The
colonial
British.
system.
Mhm.
The generation to which I belong, I call it generation of deprivation syndrome.
Mhm.
Because when India was very young, there's nothing in this country in terms of material wealth and access and so on. So we did not have, in my opinion, my generation itself, what I call aspiration for a country.
Mhm.
Uh, Generation ahead of me fought for independence. Everybody said independence, independence.
Yeah.
For us, the independence already given.
Yeah.
But we didn't have to fight for independence,
Yes.
political independence. But we did not have economic independence in the country.
Mhm.
And we were called generation deprivation syndrome.
Mhm.
Most of my generation people looked at what they individually can do and not think about India
Mhm.
because India was too large for them. They had their own day to day problems were missing. Then came another generation, what I call a comparison syndrome.
Mhm.
They compared themselves, India was compared with some other country, India, England, America, later on now China.
Mhm.
Later on, uh, I call this generation our globalization thrust.
Okay. The third generation.
Now
Okay.
that's the fourth.
Okay.
Freedom struggle,
Yes. The 10 years.
deprivation syndrome, comparison syndrome, globalization thrust.
Okay, sir.
And that, you see, we were told when we were young, Vasudeva Kudumbakam, world was a family.
Mhm.
But this generation believed world was a marketplace.
Okay.
With free trade and all that business. World was a marketplace.
Mhm.
I call the present generation
Mhm.
of Indians as generation aspiration.
Okay.
So they want to be something. They want India to be something.
Mhm.
Our thought process was not India. Our thought process, how do I secure my own personal
Mhm.
economic well-being?
Mhm.
However, we had something that this present generation does not have. We had a fantastic role model of Gandhi.
Mhm.
Gandhi had passed away by the time I was born, but
Mhm.
Gandhiism was very pronounced.
Mhm.
So the society was spiritualistic. There's a certain value systems that were imported in our childhood.
Mhm.
And therefore, we had a good learning environment, extremely good learning environment. Therefore, I would say some of us who thought of larger goals than oneself
Mhm.
had ideals, had role models like Gandhi or Mr. Kamaraj. Therefore, we contributed to this country's development process in a
Mhm.
particular way.
Mhm.
It may, if really true, the when in the 2000, when India started rising in the global space, much of the leaders in IT field came from India, belonged to
mm,
my generation a little
mm,
later. Therefore, we made impacts, but not immediately, but in later times.
mm. It's an amazing insight. So you are basically from that second generation, right? As you mentioned, and I believe, is from the fifth generation. Since you mentioned Mahatma, as you are from the second generation, would like to give a message from Mahatma to the aspirational generation or the young people like me, what that would be, and what should we follow that this generation of yours who are economically weak has followed to achieve what you have done.
You see, to me, Gandhi was universal. Doesn't belong to one generation.
Mhm,
He has a universal impact. He is relevant today. He was relevant in 40s. He'll be relevant in 2050s.
mhm,
Because Gandhi was not an individual. Gandhi, Gandhiism is a synthesis of Buddhism, Jainism, and whatever good thing happened in the human civilization. The concept of ahimsa came from Jainism.
mm,
So Gandhi's ideology is relevant today, is relevant then too.
mm,
And I would like to, of course, there's a lot of messages from the life of Gandhi, but the words of Gandhi are even more poignant than what we can see. In fact, I will now limit my comment to only two groups. He considered 7 things as social sins.
mm.
And I will not talk about all the 5, but I'll take education
Okay.
and science.
Okay.
He said science without humanity is a social sin.
Mm.
The science does not focus on the welfare of humanity. Such science is a social sin.
Okay.
And he said education without character
Mhm.
is a social sin. And basically, uh, Gandhi gave not just to India,
Mhm.
for humanity itself, lots of messages.
Mhm.
I follow those. It turns out the context changes with every generation. The present context of the world is focused on economic well being,
Mm,
materialistic focus.
mm,
And secondly, uh, we want to be better than someone else. We want to be
mm.
number one. That kind of competitiveness has come into the space.
Yeah.
Uh, our generation used to think about comparative strength, but present generation talks about competitiveness, competitive leadership.
Mhm.
But both have value.
Great. So your advice to the aspiration generation is to do education with character and always thinks about science
And
with
humanity, humanity, not
humanity
just
in mind.
yourself.
Yeah. So when you mention education with character, what are those characters?
Well, you see, education itself
Mm,
is supposed to provide you a, a shape your persona.
mm,
Uh, education is nothing but preparation of unprepared mind.
mm,
You have to prepare the mind to be strong enough to learn from everything that your learning process never stops.
mm,
Education doesn't stop throughout your life.
mm,
So education is a process. It's not just by going to a college, you get a degree, you got an education. That's not education. That's a
mm,
preparation.
mm,
Training is a preparation of underprepared minds.
mm,
Unfortunately, most of the education, modern education today, is more focused on training than preparing the mind itself. The education process is taking a second process, and training becomes important.
mm,
Skilling becomes important.
mm, mm,
But skill training is all to a context.
Mhm.
Education is context neutral.
Mm.
And that the character of a good, well learned mind, a learned mind, is prioritize goodness.
Mm.
Goodness around you, not for you,
Okay.
around you.
Around you.
And that's what I would personally
Mm.
recommend. Most of my classes in BTech course,
Mhm.
it was not focused on just teaching a course subject.
Mhm. Mhm.
Talked about discipline. Class
Mhm.
8:30 class, you must be at 8:30 in a class.
Mhm.
100% attendance.
Yes, sir. I've been through.
This is basically
Mhm.
many of my students of that generation. Now they are in professional life. They come back and tell me how valuable that has been in their lives,
Mm.
doing things focused. Therefore, it's a building a certain strength of your character itself. That's what it's all about.
Okay. Okay, sir. Great, sir. So these are some amazing, insights and the advice to the aspirational generation. Now moving on to our the topic, sir. How we are going to fix the leather industry? So we, I mean, not me and you. We, I mean, all the people who are currently involved in the industry, who are pursuing the degree, who are also passed out and doing their career in the industry, and also who is doing business in the industry, and also the scientists who are actually working for the welfare of the industry. So for this, with this context, my question would be, you, sir, since you have gone through many things, you have actually grown along with the country. I'd like to know from your perspective, like how was the leather industry, and how is the leather industry, and what do you think will be the future of Indian leather industry?
Okay, thank you. I would like to convey a message. You said, how do you fix leather industry?
Yes.
I would like to deliberate on the word fix.
Mm.
If there is a specific problem, there's a hole somewhere, you fix the problem.
Mhm.
Plug the hole.
Mhm.
Fixing is always about doing one thing that will overcome the deficiency.
Mhm.
That's what fixing is all about. A socio-economic activity like leather has to enmesh itself with a changing global context, which is varying and dynamic. Therefore, no single act
Mm.
can fix a sector
Mm.
because in dynamic change, you fix something, that something else will open up.
Okay, there are a lot more holes to fix.
Therefore, not dynamic changes.
Okay.
Therefore, I would like to replace that word fix.
Mhm.
How do we shape
Mhm.
the leather industry globally?
Mm.
And what is it required? What is required
Mhm.
to shape and dynamically position leather industry in the market space or a dynamic economic space?
Mhm.
That probably will be more appropriate
Mhm.
to discuss than fixing a problem.
Mm.
Because at the moment, that may be a problem. If you go and do something that temporarily you get a solution, but something else will open up.
Mhm.
So, what is important in a sector like leather is to recognize its comparative strength
Mhm.
in the changing global context of
Mhm.
economic space and take cognizance
Mm.
of what are the competing uh, changing environments,
Mhm.
economic environments that tend to affect
Mm.
the leather sector in terms of competition and so on.
Mhm.
How do we strategize
Mm.
the change of the sector to be able to cope with the changing dynamics
Mhm.
and perhaps convert the challenges into opportunities.
Mhm.
Any socio-economic activity will have the problem of challenge, will have the scope for opportunity.
Mhm.
Those of them who are able to convert a challenge into opportunity thrive.
Okay.
Those of them who look at challenge as a problem to fix fail
Mm.
because something else opens up.
Mm.
So now let me look at leather industry, leather sector globally, not India.
Mhm. So we are going to see how was the global leather industry, how is the global
How
industry. Yeah.
leather industry operates.
Okay.
You know, leather industry, unlike other man-made material sector,
Mhm.
relies on raw material from nature's treasure.
Hmm.
Uh, it turns out leather is was a byproduct of a meat industry.
Mhm.
People ate meat, they killed animals, and the hides became raw material for leather.
Mm.
So, leather was originally designed as a byproduct of a meat sector.
Mhm.
Or in this country,
Mhm.
uh, part of a cleaning industry because animals die of natural causes. We don't kill animals, at least cow.
Mhm.
But the animal will die anyway.
Yeah.
Therefore, the dead animal became the product of raw material for leather industry.
Mm.
Had this raw hide not been tanned, it would have created huge environmental problem.
Mm.
Therefore, leather industry in the Indian social context
Mm.
was part of a scavenging process.
Okay.
In a global context, it is a byproduct of meat industry.
Mhm.
Now, when people at that time, let's say 100 years ago,
Mhm.
the population of the world was X
Mhm.
and the number of animals was Y.
Mhm.
The ratio of Y to X was close to 1.
Okay.
Today, the human population of the world grows at 1.4%.
Mhm.
Growth rate is about 1.4%. Bovine animals is 0.5.
Mhm.
Sheep minus 0.18. 0.118. It's a negative growth.
Okay.
Goat is the only animal which has a positive growth over human population.
Mhm.
But goat, as no, globally is not a great marketed product for leather.
Mm. Mm.
So it's a bovine animals. Let me just to illustrate the population of the world today
Mhm.
is say 7.5 billion.
Mhm.
The total footwear produced last year was 16 billion pairs.
Mm.
16 billion pairs of footwear made,
Yeah.
which required 40 billion square foot of materials for making footwear alone.
Mhm.
Leather production of the world is only 20 billion, even less than
Mhm.
20 billion.
Mhm.
About 50 years ago, the world consumption of use of footwear
Mhm.
maybe 6-7 billion.
Okay.
Therefore,
Mm.
leather had a greater share of footwear use.
Mm.
Today is 40%.
Mm.
Therefore, fundamentally, leather today is facing not just competition. We think synthetic is a competition. No,
Mhm.
it's a competition at the low end price market.
Okay.
Synthetic materials are replacing and in some cases substituting because we
Mhm.
don't have material.
Yeah.
Because 40 billion square foot we don't have.
Mhm.
So 20 billion square foot anyway, and because leather is used for other footwear, other than footwear also. So about only 10 billion square foot, 12 billion square foot of leather materials available for footwear.
Mm, mm,
Other 28 is synthetics,
mm,
man-made. Therefore, leather industry people are worrying about this leather being replaced by synthetics. It's not true. It's substituting. We don't have. And they're looking at that as a problem. It's not a
mhm,
problem.
mm,
Our volume share will continue to decrease
mhm,
in the world supply.
mhm,
Now we have to ask a value share.
mm,
Fashion needs to become, leather has to become a product of fashion, and you have to create fashion statements.
mhm,
Then you are looking at a completely different segment, a market space.
mhm,
And people like me look at leather as a product
mhm,
of the future, not product of the past.
mhm,
Product of the future,
mhm,
where the two important features of leather need to be communicated to people
mhm,
powerfully.
mhm. Which are those?
We don't call it, we call footwear.
Okay.
Footwear.
Yeah.
So, why do we use the word wear?
Mm,
If you make a shoe out of a synthetic material,
mhm,
you would recognize that it meant the leather is unmatched
mhm,
by synthetics on two qualities.
mhm.
The foot volume of an adult will change 4 to 14% in a day.
In a day. Okay.
Leather has some property called viscoelasticity.
Mm,
It allows the foot to change at the same time retain shape.
mm,
You have rubber materials which are elastic,
mhm,
plastic material which change lose shape,
mhm,
but leather provides a dynamic possibility to allow the change to take place at the same time keep it in shape.
mm,
And we forget our body temperature is constant, outside temperature is variant because the skin is able to sweat.
mm,
It is the sweat ability of leather
mhm,
to remove the perspiration in feet
mhm.
and dynamically provide hygiene for the process is unmatched by synthetics.
Oh, so the breathability.
Man has not been able to produce
Mm,
the handwork of nature in any dimension.
mhm,
Therefore, we need to go back and ask the question, how do I make leather a sustainable product
mhm,
uh, and where wear is involvement, where
mm,
human body contact is important.
mm, mm,
You may not require leather for a purse.
mm,
You may not require leather for bag.
mm,
Today, we don't need leather for industrial leathers.
mm,
But you may want to have leather for upholstery in an automobile
mm,
because you're going to live there. Part of your automobile is a part of a living room.
mhm,
You may want to have footwear. Therefore, you have to go back and ask, how do I benefit the humanity by providing something which synthetics cannot give?
mm,
And then you have to ensure the material that you're going to produce move into this circular economy principle
mhm,
and provide the sustainability coefficient.
mhm,
And in this case, I would like to leave a message to the tanners of Tamil Nadu and India.
mhm,
The major carbon footprint of leather industry in the world is material movement.
mm,
The hides of America and Europe
mhm.
are exported to Asia,
Okay.
and they are converted to product in Asia, sent back to Europe and US.
Okay.
Material movement has
Mhm,
a carbon footprint,
mm,
and India has 10% of supply of raw material.
mhm,
We don't have to look at exports. Our own population is good enough to absorb.
mhm,
Therefore, if you if you if the carbon footprint of leather
mhm,
made in India
mhm,
from Indian raw material
mhm,
sold to Indian consumers,
mhm.
carbon footprint is decreased.
Okay. So you are practically saying manufacturing a leather, the carbon footprint is much lower when compared to the transportation of those
Yeah,
materials from the country to country or the
that'll
continents
be
to
huge,
continents.
huge, huge, huge.
Great insight, sir. So since we talked about the alternative materials, and as you said, they are substituting us, right? But what's your opinion on the leather as a material being branded as cruel? And it's actually the whole industry that's being branded as a cruel industry. So what's your opinion on it?
Well, uh, I don't know whether you know, Gandhi made footwear.
Mm.
He made a footwear for an Englishman, and he said he made from ahimsa leather,
Okay, ahimsa leather.
ahimsa leather.
Mhm,
And I not tired of quoting Gandhi.
mhm,
Uh, many very significant portion
mhm,
of the white animal based hides in India
mhm,
are from dead animals,
mhm,
the fallen carcasses. Uh, to call an industry cruel uh, is essentially a marketing tactics
mhm,
uh, of the materials which are not able to meet
mhm,
the quality requirements of leather.
mhm,
Therefore, the world marketplace adopts techniques
mhm,
which are convenient, not necessarily highly value based.
mhm,
Uh, I'm not very sure that how many leather users
mhm,
consider leather a cruel industry. I don't
mhm,
know. The people who want to sell their product in place of leather
mhm,
may want to use this as psychological disposition.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm,
It turns out, uh, without casting aspersions,
mhm,
somebody I know made mridangam
mhm,
with man-made material and said mridangam is using animal hide
mhm.
and therefore is less ethical.
Okay. Now the ethics comes into the picture. Mhm.
Ethics.
Okay.
Now, very few
Mhm,
people in the world
mhm,
will buy such arguments of ethicality
mhm,
in use of mridangam. So is leather.
mhm,
There are bad practices in every sector. You
mhm,
can't say leather sector doesn't have.
mhm,
The ethical practices is necessary.
mhm,
But as far as leather industry is concerned, at least Indian context,
mhm,
legally you cannot make leather
mhm,
from any hide or skin
mhm,
which is obtained from an animal which was killed for the sake of hide or skin for making leather. It is illegal to kill an animal
mhm.
for taking hide or skin for making leather from
Globally illegal, sir, or in India?
Indian context.
In Indian
Indian
context.
context.
Mm, mm, mm,
Uh, the, for example, snake.
mm,
People used to in the independent before independence, people used to kill snakes and make a snake skin.
mm,
Reptile house. All that you can't do anymore.
mm,
Deer,
mhm,
tiger, you can't do all this.
mhm,
So legally, you can only source from bovine animals, goat and
mhm,
sheep.
mhm,
And if you understand the economics of this, you will understand the reality. If there are two goats, one
mhm,
female,
mhm,
one male, okay,
mhm,
there are 100 goats,
mhm,
50 male, 50 female.
mhm,
At the end of the year, if we don't kill that goat, it become 162. Then if goat multiply at the rate at which they multiply, and you don't kill the goat will be eating man. So it's a food cycle. Okay? Goat is killed because it's a part of a food chain. If somebody were to go back and say non-vegetarian is cruel, I'll accept that. The other India also is cruel. But what percentage of the world is vegetarian?
Very minimal.
So rest of the world is cruel. Anybody takes meat is cruel because they killed an animal, no? I rest my argument.
Yes, sir. So the animals are being killed for the meat industry, and of course the skins and hides that remains becomes the byproduct. Right, sir. And moving
But
on
you
to
have to treat the animal ethically.
Okay.
Killing, but even killing, there's an ethicality.
There is a procedure.
But that is compromised most
Okay.
places. So that is something. There's a group called People for Ethical Treatment of Animals. I support their argument.
Okay, sir. And it does not also come directly under the control of Indian leather industry. So that comes under the control of the meat industry, right?
It's not. We are not talking about control. It's responsibility you can't take away. Okay. But please understand. Any industrial sector has the responsibility to ensure something called vendor development. If you cannot say, I didn't do anything wrong, somebody gave me material, that fellow was cruel. You can't say that. Therefore, there's something called vendor treatment, and leather industry in this country also has the responsibility to ensure that a certain ethicality is maintained in treatment of animals.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. The day when you took the position as the director of CLRA, I think there was also an order passed by the justice system to close the tanneries because of this pollution concern. So how do you think this pollution has turned over its course? And how was it when you were the director of CLRA? And how was it now? And do you really feel any growth that is happening here? And the situation is still bad, or it's has become a zero or something?
In 1996, Supreme Court ordered the closure for 400 tanneries in Tamil Nadu because of their poor environmental preparedness. That is true. The judgment was true. What we did was develop a technology plan for the whole state of Tamil Nadu tanning industry. And we developed a technology plan. We had a 3-part approach. One was to reduce the pollution at source by in-plant control. What we cannot control in plant, you do end-up pipe treatment, pollution treatment. After treatment, what is discharged after treatment? Have to ensure that it does not affect the general public. Therefore, in-plant control, end-up pipe treatment, and management of treated waste, 3 parts. So what we did was I cited about 148 people on CLRI in 8 towns for 9 months. Worked with all the 764 tanneries. And we carried out what I call emission factor for tunnel leather processed in each tannery. What's the BOD level, COD level, chromium level, sulfite level, salt level, and whatever. And we brought about in-plant control measures to reduce pollution at source by 50 to 60%, in some cases 80%, by in-plant control changes in every tannery. All the 764 tanneries were helped out. We gave 764 reports, individual and unit-specific solutions. Then we developed a concept of a common effluent treatment plant, connected about 500 odd tanneries to 13 common effluent treatment plants, brought them together and treated them to the requirement levels of the Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board then, in BOD, COD, 30 BOD, 250 COD, all that business. And what was not addressed by that time was the level of salt concentration in the treated wastewater.
Mhm.
The treated wastewater, if it is public discharge, it cannot have more than 2,100 ppm of total dissolved solids.
Mhm.
Because if the concentration of total solids is 2,100 ppm, the soil will become clay.
Mhm.
It'll have a problem of the land. And then, of course, groundwater gets saline.
Mhm.
So what we did was intermediate solution was we used something called high rate transpiration system. The
Mhm.
treated wastewater was led into their own land,
Mhm.
and we create a social forestry,
Okay.
which will pick up the saline water at rate faster than the percolation rate.
Mhm.
So the groundwater will be protected,
Mhm.
salt tolerant,
Mhm.
and therefore the salt will not go down.
Mhm.
And this is a high rate transpiration system. But we didn't stop there.
Mhm.
We brought what we call zero liquid discharge.
Mhm.
So the treated wastewater
Mhm.
was subjected to reverse osmosis,
Mhm.
and the processed water was recovered from that reverse osmosis technique
Mhm.
and reused.
Mhm.
So when I became the director, leather industry in Tamil Nadu was using 41 million liters of water per day.
Okay.
By this process, it was brought to 10 million liters.
Okay. This was in how many years, sir? This was done from 96.
Now, by the time the first batch within 97,
Mhm.
we brought 40 to 25.
Okay. So within a
First
year,
years,
it has reduced almost 50% to 20 to
but
25
within
million.
1 year.
Yeah, within
97,
a
we
year.
brought them.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm.
Now, the reverse osmosis,
Mhm.
reverse processes,
Mhm.
that whole industry moved in 2005.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But that requires investment. The technology had to be changed,
Yeah.
altered. In fact, zero liquid discharge
Mhm.
was a guideline in the US in 2017
Okay.
and practiced in 2020,
Okay. So we implemented it even 20 years before.
20 years ahead.
Zero liquid
Liquid
discharge.
discharge.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then, when I came back, we
Mhm.
didn't stop there. We
Mhm.
reverse osmosis, get the water back,
Mhm.
but you get a salt.
Yeah.
The salt saline reject
Yes.
system, they evaporated to dryness,
Mhm.
and the salt was not thrown away, it was kept in a bag.
Mhm.
Now, what we have done, recover the sodium chloride, so have clean,
Mhm.
and use it for chloralkali industry, sodium sulfate for dyeing industry. That process is ongoing now.
Talking about the technologies, we have talked to a lot of technologies here, right? So be it common effluent treatment plant or ZLD or even material recovery that is happening now. Uh, Sir, in your name, I can see this is based on the internet because I'm sure not all the sources might be true. But you have 37 patents, and within which 12 has been commercialized. Like this, there are a lot of scientists working endlessly, publishing a lot of papers, filing a lot of patents, and there are also some technologies that is being commercialized. But do you feel the technology that is being invented and it's being implemented, it's taking too long? And is it because of the industry is being resistant to the change, or our scientists is actually working and inventing something that the industries actually don't want?
Okay. Uh, you're asking questions like a media man, so I had to be careful. See, uh, just to give you some statistics, the world trends in conversion ratio of a patent to use is 3.5%. If there are 100 patents,
Mhm.
what goes in the commercial space is only 3.5.
Okay.
Uh, Patent
Mhm.
is like buying a real estate property.
Mhm.
You buy a land.
Mhm.
When you buy a land, you put first a fence
Mhm.
and secure that area.
Mhm.
In patent also, there's something called patent fencing.
Okay. Mhm.
So you put a fence around an area.
Mhm.
Nobody builds a house in the entire plot. That
Mhm.
land plot, you don't build a house.
Mhm. Yeah.
And maximum, you will use 20, 25%.
Mhm.
So The patenting also, what creates money
Mhm.
will be only 3-4% of the patents you file.
Mhm.
That's a world number.
Mhm.
And in our context,
Mhm.
I'm talking about leather industry's context.
Mhm.
You must acknowledge leather industry globally is built on a balance of three units of, let me say, natural selection: science, technology, and culture.
Mhm.
Cultural practices in any sector change very slowly.
Mhm.
The culture of a society changes extremely slowly.
Mhm.
Therefore, for example, agriculture is a
Mhm.
cultural practice. It's
Mhm.
very difficult to put technology into a IPR product into an agricultural product in India. But
Mhm.
culture is slowly.
Mhm.
Therefore, you must understand traditional sector like leather,
Mhm.
but the technology trade coupling is weak.
Mhm.
Innovations and technology will be slow to pick up.
Mhm.
It's a global order. It's nothing to do with disintegration.
Mhm.
Tech, fundamentally, leather industry is a sector which I'll classify
Mhm.
a sector with a poor coupling of technology trade.
Mhm.
I correlated in 2005, we did a technology trade coupling parameters for leather. So you take balance of trade in one axis,
Mhm.
and one axis you take because the World Trade Organization came up in 2000. So you take the 95 to
Mhm.
2005,
Mhm.
and each country's patent growth, patent filing growth of each country in leather sector
Mhm.
on a y-axis.
Okay.
It turned out Italy and China,
Mhm.
with a high positive balance of trade,
Mhm.
did not have great initiative in patenting. They didn't bother about patents. They were
Mhm.
almost on the zero base.
0 base. Okay.
Countries like US,
Mhm.
which are not interested in patenting in leather, but they were high negative balance of trade.
Mhm.
There are only three countries:
Mhm.
India,
Mhm.
Brazil,
Mhm.
Korea,
Mhm.
that positive balance of trade
Mhm.
and positive growth in patenting. Most countries like Switzerland, Germany,
Mhm.
France, all negative balance of trade, negative growth in patenting.
Mhm.
So what it conveys to you,
Mhm.
in leather sector, technology trade coupling is weak.
Mhm.
So for this sector, you need to understand patenting in a different manner. In a highly coupled system. It's not a high technology trade.
Mhm.
There are aspects like pharmaceutical, there are
Mhm.
sectors like space,
Mhm.
computer science.
Mhm.
These are high technology trade, where the
Mhm.
patenting will have a greater return.
Mhm.
So majority of the patents that you take in leather are I call patent fencing patents.
Mhm.
So territory is protected.
Okay.
And the absorption process in technology in leather sector, I would compliment Indian tanners much more than many other nations, including the Western world.
Mhm.
Uh, there is in fact, as far as leather is concerned,
Mhm.
India is in a much better position than other countries
Mhm.
because leather sector is able to attract talent to study science, study technology.
Mhm.
Bright people come to study leather technology in this country.
Yeah.
It's the people who make a sector,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
money.
Mhm.
So talent force is important.
Mhm.
And technology preparedness is much higher here.
Mhm.
And many brands, high brands, are made in Tamil Nadu for the world.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Therefore, it's not that there's a gap.
Mhm.
You see, I was able to get all the technologies for the environmental system because there was a court order which closed them. There were 2.5 lakh jobs under threat.
Yeah.
6,000 crore export turnover was under threat. 4,000 export was under threat. 9 months we solved them. So there must be sometimes external forces benefit. To me, that Supreme Court order, was an opportunity. It was not a challenge. But the reason why my patenting is different because I did not stay with leather alone. My patents are in different domains. Okay. We have some patents on chromium for the world itself. So that's a different process.
Sure, sir.
I won't worry too much about this patent business.
Okay, sir. So the absorption of technology is a cultural concern.
There's a culture that's also changing
Okay.
towards technology. Positive changes do take place.
Mhm.
But leather industry is slow to change worldwide.
Why is it so, sir? Why not compared to automobile industry or FMCG industry or something like that? Why the leather industry is taking slow?
Basically, it is all there are sectors which are driven by high technology because the competition is very high. Okay. Pharmaceutical industry is highly regulated. And therefore, everybody wants to do something to get the exclusive process and get into this. The market is quite high. And leather industry is not one such process. And people are happy. Safety margins are quite high. So to change. And it's not fair to compare automobile and leather. Not required. And probably the level of technology absorption in agriculture will be much lower.
Okay. So technology absorption in any unorganized sector will be lower.
It's not unorganized, even organized sector. You don't have to go unorganized sector. Even organized sector, if the cultural settings are dominating, slowly, see, my grandfather ate a particular food. I eat the same food. What's wrong in it? Why should I be thinking just because I have to change, I must change the food? My grandfather lived well, I lived well too. Therefore, culture sometimes have to be retained. And leather has a character of culture. It is better to market the cultural heritage of leather than to be swept by the change of synthetics. I don't look at this as something, you don't change for the sake of change. Change has to be purpose.
Okay.
Where's the purpose? That's the question. You say that I want to have, what should leather industry do? It is true, when I was a student, people were able to get enough money from 30% efficiency of material use. They can make a profit. But today you can't do that. Therefore, you increase your atom efficiency and energy efficiency. That you require new technologies. Today, for example, if you are able to use, if you take 1 dry gram of protein in hide, what goes into footwear is only 0.52. 0.48 is converted into low value products. If you can value that 0.48 and do not look at it as a byproduct, but look at it as an atom efficiency, circular economy, and get much better value out of it. It 0.52 gram of a gram provides me 70,000 crore industry. 0.48, can I get 60,000 crore industry? That's economics. Fundamentally, we must present circularity not as cost of putting waste management, but avoiding loss. You see, for example, leather industry in India today, in Tamil Nadu, does not waste chromium waste.
Mm.
I was showing them, they were telling 42 crore worth of chromium every year. Now
Mm.
they don't waste. And chromium is taken out and reused.
Okay.
Your, your pollution problem is solved.
Mm.
So we must present green technologies not as a technology for the sake of technology,
Mm.
but present these as a rational and pragmatic ways
Mhm.
of saving money.
Mhm. So the absorption of technology and the economy goes hand in
So
hand.
hand in hand.
Mm. Yes, sir. So talking about talents, right? As you mentioned, leather technology is not so much high intense technology sector. What would you advise a student who is studying in the 12th class now, and would they have to consider taking leather as their career? Why I'm asking is because with the context of globally, we are seeing institutes being closed who are conducting leather industry, like Northampton University, who have recently closed their operations in Europe. But in India, we are having exceptional institutes teaching leather technology. But the output compared to any other engineering is still very low. We are only having around 50 to 100 to 150 graduates graduating in leather and leather allied sectors, technology based graduation program. So, what would be your advice to a person who is doing 12th, and why should they pursue leather? And what would be your advice for someone who is pursuing leather, and what should they do?
Okay. Uh, I'll be careful about advising people.
Mhm.
When you become old, I'm 77, your pastime becomes advising other people. And in my opinion, uh, my expiry date on advice is already reached.
Okay.
So I have to be careful about advice. But I will share an anecdote, personal anecdote, which is relevant even today.
Mhm.
When I passed pre-university, I was one of the top guys in this Madras University. So I could have got admission anyway.
Mhm.
I did get admission engineering.
Mhm.
But for whatever reason, I won't go into the details.
Mhm.
I applied for leather alone in AC college
Mhm. Mhm.
without knowing what was leather. I did this truly to irritate my father,
Mhm.
nothing else. But I went home. I had a sister, 21 plus, and my father was jumping because he didn't like leather. And there's a taboo
Mhm.
in studying leather in my cultural settings.
Mhm.
My sister made a statement. There is no such thing as a lower profession, higher profession. Ucham, nicham
Mhm.
of professions is a man-made classification. All professions are professions. Some professions do not attract bright people.
Mhm.
As a consequence,
Mhm.
intellectual input in those professions go down,
Mhm.
and the field, therefore, becomes weak. Leather industry was one sector
Mhm.
where people with ability
Mhm.
did not choose to go. And she said, my brother will change this field.
Mhm.
He will be a change agent of the sector.
Mhm.
I want him to study leather
Mhm.
and change the social status of leather itself.
Okay. So she believed that you will change the overall industry.
64. 64.
Mm.
Now, I am not saying that I have changed, but that statement my sister made in 1964 is more valid today in India than it was in our time.
Mm.
I use the word valid in India.
Mm. Mm.
Why? Indian population is high, young population is even higher,
Mhm.
the talent base is very high. Now, this field is such that you yourself pointed out, Northampton is closed. Most of the Western world systems are closed in education. You have a unique opportunity to change the leather world if you are a bright person. Whereas you studied computer science, you will be one in a zillion.
Hmm.
So your ability to change that field is one in a zillion.
Okay. The probability of changing the field is higher here.
Very high.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you change the whole dimension, the whole field.
Mhm.
And leather industry will never be closed because there are meat eaters. As
Mhm.
long as there's meat eating, there'll be head and skin available.
Mhm.
Unless all the whole world becomes vegetarian, which is unlikely,
Mhm.
it don't want to happen. So there will be a supply of hide and skin,
Mhm.
and you will have a market for the product high value addition processes.
Mhm.
And therefore, those of them who believe in themselves,
Mhm.
not the support of the field, but you have confidence you will change something. This
Mhm.
is an area.
So your success is not based on the industry, but based on your own belief.
Believe.
If you believe you can change, you can make change in any industry.
I believe that. You see,
Mhm.
Gandhi statement again. I came back to India in 84 for this process only.
Mhm.
He said, be the part of change you wish to see. So I
Mhm.
came back to India for
Mhm.
changing Indian science, not chemistry.
Mhm.
Okay. In
Mhm.
84, I came back to change Indian science.
Indian science.
I came back to CLRI when it's the year of a closure in 83.
Mhm.
CLRI is the year of a closure. At 35, you don't go to an institution year of a closure. But it is true. Today, global leader in leather research is CLRI.
Mhm.
If you take the publications
Mhm.
of the top 20 people in the world in publication number, 8 are from CLRI. And
Mhm.
world number 1 is Raghav. Okay. Out of the 8, 7 are my students and their students. So they change. And if you take number of publications in leather world, okay, number 1 is ALRI, the next person is 30% lower.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. So what it conveys, it's in terms of patents, in terms of publications, ALRI is a global leader.
Mhm.
So you can change the world.
So it's a great opportunity for us to become the global leader
Yeah.
in leather industry.
But you have to
Yes.
believe in yourself. And you have
Yes.
to believe that you want to change.
Okay. So when there is belief in self, then there is a belief in the industry.
True.
Great, sir.
Collective belief.
Yes, sir. Collectively. So my next question is, since we gone global, we talk about Western systems. What is your thoughts about a foreign entity standardizing Indian leather industry, such as, for example, LWG, so on. So there are many systems, many certifications that's been employed and formulated by the foreign entities, and that's been implemented on the Indian leather industry. So do you feel, is it right, or is it the right time that we actually create our own standards for the requirements of the global demand, and come up with our own standardization and standardizes?
Well, I think when you are in Rome, be a Roman.
Mm.
Fundamentally, users of leather
Mhm.
in current world
Mhm.
are in Europe and the US.
Okay.
Now, these so-called entities that you talk about today,
Mhm.
their local industry is gone.
Mm.
So the source, they can only control the source.
Mm.
Source is India and China, Asian countries. Now, if your market is in Europe,
Mhm.
the standards in the marketplace will be decided by this market. So they set the standard.
Mhm.
Now, you want to be better than the standard which they give,
Mhm.
then you should be able to create a market for that improved product.
Mm.
That's about branding.
Mm.
There, there's a concept of selling, there's a concept of marketing.
Mm.
Concept of selling is meet an existing demand, which is what most of the leather industry people in India is doing.
Mm.
The demand is in the Western world,
Mhm.
and the certifying agencies are in the West. They are telling you this is the demand for this product. You set these standards. there may be very few in this country
Mhm.
who are prepared to make a product better than what the consumer is getting in the Western world,
Mhm.
and you have to create a market for it.
Mhm.
So you have to not selling it, meeting a demand, create a demand for the
Mhm.
product you made,
Mhm.
and that is talking about branding.
Mhm.
That until India reached that stage
Mhm.
of create a brand, make a fashion statement, make a product statement, you have no choice but to go through this model.
Okay, it's high time we create brands.
Well, I wouldn't call it high time. I mean,
Mhm.
that has to be a strategic thinking process.
Mhm.
Now, there may be LWG, this WG, all that, but finally, people working there may be your own people. Therefore, essentially, as far as leather is concerned, uh, world has to live with the Indians because this
Mhm.
is the place where most people get trained.
Mhm.
Matter ends.
Great. Sir. And in the same global context, so in recent union budget, uh, the finance minister, removed the import duty on wet blues and also the export duty on crushed leather, unfinished leather. And the whole industry was, enjoying this. In next 1 2 months, Trump came, become the president of US, and imposed an extreme tariff on the whole country. Even though this is not specific to the leather industry, but up to 20 to 25% of our export relies on US. So how to tackle this? How the industry can tackle this?
Well, you see, I'm not going to give up a solution for tackling
Mhm.
because uh, you have to, when there are externalities of certain kind,
Mhm.
uh, you need to find a way of coping with it and overcoming it. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, World at large in 2000 moved from command markets to what I call globalized world, liberalized world. When the liberalization of economy took place,
Mhm.
I remember giving a talk in the World Telugu Conference in 92
Mhm.
that in 20 years,
Mhm.
the world will switch the pendulum
Mhm.
and move opposite direction from globalization to localization.
Mhm.
There will become national spirit at that point of time. And what you're seeing today
Mhm.
in America is only that.
Yeah.
Because they thought, the
Mhm.
Western world thought, the market is in China and India, a lot of people are there. So getting access to the market here, World Trade Organization brought all kinds of things. They can access the market
Mhm.
and they wanted to sell their products. But what happened? They lost the jobs.
Mhm.
Then the nationalization of this tariffs and all that will happen. This is a economic pendulum of the world. I don't really attach importance to this. As simple.
Mhm.
But when you talk about command market to market economy,
Mhm.
command economy to market economy, there are three stages in between. Command market, competition sets in,
Mhm.
competition shakeout,
Mhm.
uh, the no, competition heat,
Mhm.
competition shakeout, and dynamic competition.
Mhm.
So only those people who are able will succeed
Mhm.
entering a dynamic market competition and survive and thrive.
Mhm.
In India itself, in leather industry, Mr. Hashim was one of them.
Mhm.
He is a 2,000 crore sector. They don't borrow money.
Mhm.
They're zero interest. They're doing well. Because they created a brand for themselves
Mhm.
and they did not, they entered a dynamic market competition. Now, all this ban on export, ban on raw materials, ban of import, all that business is all command economy. command economy, all these bans are required for the weak.
Hmm.
If you are able, you don't need it. You don't need crutches. There was a time India needed it. We banned the export of raw materials and process intermediates in 72. There was a time we incentivized export of finished leather. There was a time we incentivized export of finished products and so on, where export from leather was important.
Hmm.
India's exports in 90s used to be $25 billion. Leather was $2 billion.
Hmm.
So it's a major product.
Hmm.
Today, India's export $690 billion. The $6 billion, leather export of $6 billion, not important.
Hmm.
So you can grow into the globalized processes. Now, when you want into the globalized, when you take the protectionism, leather industry will go through consolidation. The able will thrive,
Mhm.
unable will perish.
Mhm.
That's what will happen. Now, basically, United States split the pendulum on the other end and brought tariff to protect.
Mhm.
Protect what? They want to protect their manufacturing, not market.
Mhm.
Because the tariff is going to increase the cost of the product for the Americans.
Mhm.
They have not put the export duty for you.
Mhm.
They have not put duty for you. They put tariff.
Tariff.
So when you are paying, the consumer will eventually buy the product. And therefore, the product will become more expensive for the Americans.
Hmm.
Therefore, they are trying to promote local manufacturing.
So coming around a
What
cycle.
they want to bring the industry back to increase the manufacturing base in the United States.
Hmm. Hmm.
That will be unlikely to affect leather. Why? Leather industry's survival depends on three factors, which are macroeconomics.
Hmm.
One of them, what is the per capita GDP? The per capita GDP is in purchase power parity in 5 digits.
Mhm.
Leather industry is not viable. They are $40,000. Leather industry, you cannot bring back leather industry in the United States. You can't bring leather industry in most of Europe.
It will be very costly to manufacture there.
Because cost of production will
Yes,
be high.
because the PP is
Per capita GDP.
high.
Okay, per capita income will
Hmm.
make a difference.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there was a time leather industry was economically viable only when the per capita income was less than $500.
Hmm.
Fortunately, that has improved. So India's per capita GDP $2,800, $850,
Hmm.
and purchase parity may be 11,000. But it is still a viable process here.
Hmm. Hmm.
And per capita leather industry, the leather making is not viable in Madras city,
Okay, in our own cities.
in our cities.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Because leather making, you can do it in Ranipet, Ranipet even Ambur or Vaniambadi, but
Okay.
not in cities.
Okay, it's because of economics, not because of
Economics,
environmental factors.
viability,
Okay.
economic viability.
Okay.
Land cost is high.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
You need land, na?
Yeah.
Land cost in urban economy is very high.
Hmm.
Because you must understand economics will rule the sector.
Okay, sir.
And there is no way leather industry will be reviving in US or Europe.
Yes, sir. So talking about the contribution of the industry to the exports, how do you think the impact of the Indian leather industry is going to be for the vision of Vikshit Bharat 2047?
Uh, okay. This Vikshit Bharat,
Mhm.
I like to modify it Vikshit Shuk Bharat.
Okay. What does it mean, sir?
What does Vikshit Bharat means?
Developed India.
Developed India.
Yeah.
Shuk Bharat means developed happy India.
Okay. Developed a happy India. So you're bringing character here.
Developed India is not a goal.
Hmm.
What is the use of development without happiness?
Hmm.
Please understand, development without control is cancer.
Hmm.
Growth without control is cancer. Development without happiness is a social destruction. Social segregation is not good. When you say developed India, what does that mean? It is not technology. Please understand, just because you're a scientist, do not make everything technology based. A nation to be called developed, the per capita income, per capita GDP of the country must be around $12,000. Okay? If you take the per capita GDP of a farmer, it is $800 today. If $800 were to become $12,000 by 2047, you look at the growth rate that it must maintain. If the current growth rate of 2 to 3% of agriculture sector were to happen, it would take 100 years for a farmer to get $12,000 per capita. You take the overall India's growth, your service sector will get in 5 years. Industrial sector will get 27 years. Farmer will take 100 years. So India is not just for the service economy. Major India is agriculture. Therefore, if you present per capita GDP of farmer to a service economy 1 to 9.2.
Okay, the ratio is 1 to 9.2.
1 to 9.2. If we grow at the same pace and reach the $12,000 by 2047, or a national aggregated GDP of 2047, which you can reach through service economy, the ratio will become 1 to 60.
1 to 16?
Yeah, 60.
Okay. Then the inequality in growth comes into the picture.
That will create unhappiness.
Okay. So that's where we are bringing the happiness into the picture.
That is where.
Okay.
That's not the where.
Okay.
That should be the only objective.
Okay.
Okay? Therefore, Vikshit Bharat will need 3 things more than what is stated publicly. A, greater uniformity of growth per capita GDP. Because segregation will cause social segregation, which is not good. The present per capita emission of greenhouse gases of India is 42% of the world, around 2 ton per person, again 4.2. If we grow very fast with this population without proper caring for emissions and do not follow a low carbon footprint path, the India's growth is unsustainable for the world itself. One is growth, others are velocity of growth, speed of growth. 27 years of the population of India by 2047 will be 1.62 billion. Because you got projected population. For that population, if you have to, the per capita emission reaches a global average, present average, Earth is gone. Today, to sustain the lifestyle of United States for the world, it requires 7.4 Earth.
Only for the United States?
Only for, if you want to have the lifestyle of United States for the world.
For the world.
For the world.
You need 7 Earths.
7.4 Earths.
7.4 Earths.
Yes.
To live.
And India requires 0.4 already.
Okay.
We don't have 0.4. Correct? Fundamentally, the Vikshit Bharat implies that our growth must take place at low carbon footprint. That's a different process. Not only technology, but proper use of consumption. Sustainable consumption. Again, quoting Gandhi, he said, remember, England had to colonize the whole world to maintain a certain lifestyle. And he said, how many years India would require? Indian population were to maintain the same lifestyle. He said this before I was born. But today, it is estimated that American lifestyle would require 7.4 years.
Mm.
That's not the process of growth for India. Okay.
Got it, sir.
Now, uniformity of growth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for this, leather industry's contribution and sustainability is towards social equity,
Mm.
equitable growth. In fact, in textile and leather are not wealth generators, they're wealth distributors.
Mm.
And that is important.
So more than wealth generation, distribution
No,
is
wealth
important.
distribution is also important. Rate of
Mm.
growth of economy, rate
Mhm.
of distribution of economy must be
Mhm.
similarly placed.
Mhm.
So leather has a possibility
Mhm.
to connect the match power of India in a lower economic stratum to
Mhm.
the purchasing power of the world. Therefore, you are creating a certain wealth flow patterns.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. So we are actually coming to a conclusion, sir, of this podcast. I have just two questions, one a general one and one a personal question from myself. Right. You already gave an advice to the students, sir. So you have to believe in yourself. So everything will happen around it. But for the people of Indian leather industry who are already there, so as you already gave an advice to the students, sir, that you have to believe in yourself and everything else will take care of around you. What would be that one thing that you have to tell, not the advice, but you want to tell to the people who are in the Indian leather industry that has to make an impact and bring back the hope?
Okay. I would like to leave a thought, not say.
Mhm.
Uh, a pessimist I define as one who sits in front of a chocolate cake and cashew burfi
Mhm.
and worry about calories. I think leather industry in this country, unfortunately, take a pessimistic attitude for a considerable number of years.
Mhm.
I would like to leave a thought with them. Arey, eat that cashew cake and chocolate cake and cashew burfi
Mhm.
and do exercise and burn it away. Therefore, that's an
Mhm.
opportunity for India to lead the sector because your raw material strength, your comparative strength, your talent base.
Mhm.
There's a market which is certainly looking for special products.
Mhm.
You can't do, you cannot run a race and win if you're worrying about your energy levels.
Mhm.
You have to win the race, then you have to equip yourself for the process, consolidation, and then believe in yourself as a sector that we'll be a leader.
Mhm.
Leather industry in this country is sitting in front of a great opportunity to become what I call a leader in a fashion statement of leather as a unique product.
Mhm.
Go and get it.
So, people, you heard from the man himself. Stop doubting yourself and believe in yourself. And of course, eat the cake. We can anytime go to the gym and burn those calories. So, moving on to the personal question. So, I've seen many leaders in my current generation, and a lot of them inspires me. So, if a man or a woman wants to be successful in their life, should they stay single?
Depends on what you call success. Okay. Uh, if you call me successful,
Mhm.
uh, I would like to share with you what my father used to say,
Mhm.
quoting Vicar of Wakefield. First
Mhm.
sentence, he said, I'm always of the opinion man who married did more service to society than the one who remained single.
Mhm.
Because my father was, I'm talking about, it is not when I was a marriageable age, I was much younger.
Okay.
Fundamentally, a man's success has to be balanced over several coefficients, several strands,
Mhm.
dimensions.
Mhm.
and somebody who married, lived a life with family and so on, that success of the will count as the success of the family itself.
Mhm.
My father is a married man.
Mhm.
My success is success too. My father
Mhm.
succeeded through me.
Mhm.
Whereas Ramasami's success
Mhm.
has been counted only in that one element, one dimensional change
Mhm.
of professional life. Okay. So there's the Prime Minister of India
Mhm.
who, although married, lives a life of a single.
Yeah.
There was Mr. Kamaraj.
Yes.
There was Vajpayee.
Mm.
There was Abdul
Abdul
Kalam.
Kalam. Yeah.
There are people.
Mm.
But all of us, in our own sphere of our action, because we focus all our energies and attention to one dimensional change,
Mhm.
we grew taller in that space.
Mm.
But success in life, I may have a total failure in some other dimension.
Mm.
Okay. If if you go and ask my mother, she would say that fellow doesn't know what's the price of electricity or rice. I don't know.
Mm.
So my mother, before she died, she was telling my sister-in-law, how this fellow is going to survive.
Mm.
Therefore, I am not giving a prescription. If you are capable of living a life with a one-pointed focus, with a certain purpose, and don't want to, let me say, distract it in many other spheres,
Mhm.
then follow our path. But want a good life,
Mhm.
and the success is what you decide. Success failure is within.
Mhm. Mhm.
You don't, somebody else doesn't define your success. Then I would not suggest my young people not to marry.
Okay, sir. So the success is a collective contribution,
Sure.
and also the success is what's going to define whether we should stay single or not.
That's your choice.
The people's choice. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the
My
time.
pleasure. My pleasure.
Thanks for the knowledge. Thanks for everything today.
Thank you. Thank you.